Want to know how the economy is doing? Why listen to commentators and analysts when you can hear from the number one bank on the number one stage in the world? JP Morgan Chase is the country's largest bank and operates out of the world's most important financial center, New York. On Friday, JP Morgan will recap their first quarter earnings and their outlook for the rest of the year. It's a chance for you to hear directly from the senior management of JP Morgan, and I think it's simply the best way to get to know a company that you may want to invest in. Later in the podcast, we'll let you know how you can participate in the webcast directly from your internet device. Welcome, it's Tuesday, April 10th, and this is Value Side. I'm your host, David Ravel. Now, our analysis today should not be considered a recommendation either to buy or sell this or any related security. JP Morgan Chase, the biggest of the big, from my perspective, the most important bank in the world. In recent years, JP Morgan has combined with Bank One and Washington Mutual to form a colossus of a bank, with 5,100 branches across the country, 250,000 employees, and $2.5 trillion in assets. Now this Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, JP Morgan will begin their first quarter earnings conference call. And if you can't make the conference call live, I encourage you to listen to a replay available anytime on their website. Now here's what I expect to hear from the call. If the call goes true to form, and I have no reason to think that it won't, then the first part of the call will tout those areas where the bank has done very well over the last quarter. Here, I'm expecting that JP Morgan will point to increased revenue due to the rising interest rates. This has likely allowed JP Morgan to raise loan rates, increasing the bank's revenue. Additionally, the bank may look forward to enhanced revenue due to lower corporate taxes under the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, which came into effect at the end of 2017. This lowered tax rate alone should help power JP Morgan to higher earnings this year. On the other hand, there should be a couple of negatives for the first quarter and going forward. I expect that the primary negative for this first quarter was also the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. JP Morgan has major overseas holdings, and under the provisions of the Act, likely repatriated many of those funds. This in turn created a one-time tax liability that will probably be reflected in this report. In the next part of the call, I expect that the bank will discuss certain negatives, and here is one item that I consider the most important of the whole report: the loan loss provision. Now, a loan loss occurs when someone can't pay off their loan. The bank is forced to write off that loan as uncollectible. In a business cycle, loan losses can rise when the economy weakens and companies are slow to pay their loan payments or they go out of business entirely. And for the marginal borrower, an interest rate rise can increase their loan payments and force them to slow or curtail those loan payments. Now, we are certainly in a time of rising interest rates, but the jury is currently out on whether or not the economy is weakening. That's where JP Morgan's report on loan losses is so telling. If we see a big bump up in the loan loss provision, we can assume that JP Morgan is seeing some stress among their clients. The economy is probably weakening. On the other hand, if loan losses stay where it is at now, things are probably going well. Going into this quarter, JP Morgan's loan loss provision was 1.46% of all the loans that are outstanding. And this is the number to watch. Above 1.46% loan loss probably indicates that finance is tightening and the economy slowing. At or below a 1.46 loan loss provision, and the clients of JP Morgan are probably not experiencing any undue stress. So watch the loan loss number and you probably have the single best read on the health of the economy currently. So the webcast and conference call for JP Morgan Chase can be found on their website, jpmorganchase.com. Go to Investors Relations. You can watch the webcast from their website or simply dial in by phone. The number is also provided at the web. Now, tomorrow, Bank Week continues with a look at Citibank's earnings call, also on this Friday. And that brings you up to date on the J.P. Morgan Chase earnings report. This has been a copyrighted edition of Value Side, published before the opening of the New York Stock Exchange for Tuesday, April 10th. Don't forget you can hear Value Side on Google Music, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and now on YouTube. For all of us at Value Side, I'm David Ravel, hoping you have a great day.